All right, friends, time for another recap on the old YouTubes here. So today, as you might have seen, we are pressing up into some of the dump day resistance O's, right? So we hit that high yesterday. Now we're just kind of in that low consolidation mode. Now we need a little bit of a slowdown day, a little bit of consolidation, and we need a day with more catalysts that are psychological or data driven. I think to be able to FOMO Momo back up into our all-time high 500 call, I think we're going there pretty easily. We got some fibbies and we got some stuff up there waiting for us up in the 500 range, like deviations and so on and so forth. But prior to that, we have a lot of work to do. So let's get into today's day trade scalp recaps. Now, we made a couple different zones of interest here. And let's go over how we found these. So this morning, posted on X and or the Twitters here, right? Came to boom, right here. So we made this green zone, right? Nope, can't see my arrow. First call of the day right here. So we put this out early 8:19 a.m. And I said these three zones on the charts will be our biggest support. So we have a really big green zone, which is prior POC. You see the POC coming in, yesterday's POC, pre-market POC. And then most importantly, at 475.40, there's actually a very long-term heavy POC, right? So let's go look into that. So besides that Twitter post that we had there, we do have a weekly POC. Now the weekly POC you can see in this teal box right here, bluish, whatever it happens to be. And all I did was I went back on the weekly time frame and I went to the all-time highs, and then I found out where the all-time high candle and likelihood of, let's get this out of the way here if my mouse would ever work. There we go. I found the area of prior POC. So the week of 12/27 of 2021, the week before all-time high is set, we have a volume area high on the all-time high, and we have a POC on the week prior. So we made a little channel of where that POC was, because that is a weekly, very large POC, and that will come into play as soon as live price action comes back up. So that little channel is what you've seen here. So you can see the reactions from that POC. Here's the dump day. First interaction with that POC. Shied it right here on that POC. That's that white box that you see there. Moving into our current last two trade days here. Look at where that white box came in for algos and other. Big support right here, end of the day. Again, finally broke out. And what do we look for today? Same exact thing, a push back in. So we had a pop the short pre-market call. We were going to look for those downside metrics because of the VIX. So we'll go over that in a sec. But we had a pre-market short all the way down, and we needed to see this area of support, and we made our last little bit of support right here, and that's just off the prior 30-minute POC here on Think or Swim. So if I go to 30:30, you'll see where I made this channel from. Right here. So that's the highest point of volume traded. So if I remove this, activate it, move it over, you can see this large POC right at 475 and some pennies. So you put a box over that POC like so. So we know where there's large amounts of prior action going on of limits. Now we have all of these monster supports here with prior POCs, huge weekly, and then all the prior POCs. You have yesterday's POC, pre-market POC, and monster weekly, and then some on the bottom here. I'll bring up. So again, these were the big ones on TradingView. So we made the zone, prior POCs, very large zones. Now, again, we're looking to end the year in sentiment. We did not get a Grinch. We're going to end green, so on and so forth. So sentiment still tells you to buy all dips and consolidation. So look for the biggest amount of daily supports, right? So we go to the 5-minute chart here. I'll show you what our trades looked like. Made a little over 1,500 today. But on the 5-minute here and the VIX, which I said we'd cover, this is one of the biggest sentiments here. I think the fire alarm battery's going off. You guys might hear that. I'm going to go change the batteries here. But the VIX, we had a gap down open, and then we had a couple different target ranges. If we kept pushing towards standard deviation on the downside, we wanted to see VIX towards this gap and this gap to close each one. So we were going to have that potential support coming in. Now we're at standard deviation -2 now on the 5-day. And that's it's a pretty big support, but right now the market is still going to force the VIX down into a downtrend on standard deviation. And that's what we're kind of planning, because ES still has an opportunity to consolidate for the day. This was the chop zone at the weekly and the lower, so we were going to play that inevitably. So the two zones that I wanted to see would have been a nicer move back down to like a half candle retrace. That would have been about the ending short. I didn't see too much after that, and we, came down a little bit here, but we ended up at our POC and turned back around. And the only confirmation that you were looking for to get that move to pan down more is a VIX cross on the 5 MAC. So the 5-day, 5-minute MAC on the VIX there, you can see on the bottom. Did that ever cross lines? No, absolutely not. So we were looking for all those moves, a gap, 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 move down. Never did the lines for the MAC force back up. Now, is it doing it right now? It's getting pretty close. We got the lines right now just dead set on top of each other for about 45 minutes here. And again, the dollar, which we try to reflect on a little bit here, is on some -2 deviation. Now, this is the daily and this is the weekly. We're into some major supports on those neon green dashed lines. Now, you can see the 5-minute MAC on the dollar is rising, so I might be kicking up in time for a little bit of a pullback coming in here. We'll see what the day trade has to do. But as far as our day trades go, that was very dependent on the VIX cross. We never got the cross, so we had this beautiful wash back down. And one thing I do want to keep in mind here, there's an intraday algo. This was another algo swap. When you see these on the intraday, it's usually a big swap coming. So we were long biased here off the support channel, which we called long all the way up. Then we had this dude right here, and that was an algo right after 857 there, and that was a swap of the algorithm. So you see after that, it never made a high, it never even tried, because the first attempt at pre-market high is usually a really good pullback. Let's say 8 out of 10 times. So if we're coming from the bottom zone all the way back up right here, that's a pullback zone. And then you've seen that algorithm live on day right here, 858, put in a snap, and that snap was definitely an algo reverse. And what did it do? It reversed right there and there. So right there all the way down to our supports, pushed, created a lower high, let all the resets happen here on our oscillation indicators. So came back down to our final support. And then look right there, we got our higher low set up. We got our MAC crosses right here. We got a big histogram wave. So everything was getting long out of consolidation right here, as long as it gets back over that blue zone. So right now, we could easily take a few day trade scalps here, I think, to that downside. We have histogram to the downside. On the minute chart, we got the VIX at a really big bounce point of deviation -2. We got some lines crossed potentially coming on VIX and dollar bounce. So right here, we could see a little bit of a pullback down. We have a 666 recovery here. So I know we'll have to see on that one. Let's check the 5-minute real fast. Boop. Yeah, volume area high as well. So volume area high right here, pre-market open, not a bad spot for a little bit of a scalp to that downside. So if we did have some trade stuff open here, we could have took a nice little short back down here into the 100 EMA, maybe center view app, and let the RSI hold the 50 and go, and then let that MAC kind of confirm above the 0 line and go back to long after a bit. But I think the VIX, again, deviation -2 on the 5-day, and the dollar there, those are kind of some big promotional, as far as I'm concerned, supports on bearish indicators. So I would say that that would have to have a move back down here just a little bit, and then consolidate, and then further pressure later on to continue highs, maybe peak up over yesterday's highs. If not, it's fine, because it's Wednesday. We don't have any data, and again, a psychological theory to push us up there. So if we just kind of come back down and just kind of float and chop above and below yesterday's close for a whole bunch and wait for data for some more hype, fear, and greed tomorrow, that'll be just that. So I think some more sideways action. Highest outcome would be yesterday's highs attempt. Don't really see it. I see more of a static day. And then if we get a late day runner up, sure, late day squeeze where they blow out all the shorts that try to pick tops and dumb money. So so on and so forth. But if we get some data tomorrow and we get some overnight futures ramp up where they push us up, we're going to watch for that. But very clean and clear cut call on Twitter. Big supports here and good oscillation and good confirmational weight on our oscillation indicators. So tune in for the next recap, and we'll catch you then.